Hey everyone, it's Evan Kirstel. I'm here today with a guest, Bradley Metrock, the CEO and founder of Project Voice. And I'm going to chat about Bradley's upcoming event, Project Voice X, which sounds very mysterious and secretive, Bradley. So tell us, is this like an X Files top secret kind of thing, or what's going on with Project Voice X?
I tell you, it's funny you mentioned the X Files because it seems like attending an in-person event feels kind of alien. But the fact is that our namesake is Project Voice, the name of our company. We do a lot to accelerate the growth and adoption of voice and conversational AI. We have a namesake event that occurs every spring. That's the number one event in the space. This is sort of a mini me version of that, but it's the first in-person event to come back in months in this space and probably several other spaces. It's going to be a executive summit type of feel, very skews senior level and executive level because a lot of those folks have been traveling for a little bit, whereas middle management is still kind of lagging behind and just now, not yet on the road yet or whatever. But it'll be a good look at the current state of voice technology and conversational AI, throw in a little bit of social audio, throw in some other audio sorts of things. And it's going to be a great time. Amazon and Microsoft are the presenting sponsors. Lenovo's global head
Sorry,
of it.
Amazon and Microsoft. You got them to come together. That in itself should be an event.
Yeah, we're collaborative. Lenovo's head of AI in North America, alongside Lenovo's global head of AI and innovation, will both be there, giving an update. A woman who has started a really neat startup where conversational AI helps to preserve heritage and history, who is in her day job the executive producer of audio at National Geographic, will be there. A number of startups will be presenting on Wednesday morning that are fresh and really interesting. Deloitte will close the show. We got all sorts of folks. It's going to be a great time.
Epic. Well, let's take a step back before we go too deep into the event. Tell us about your journey in this world of voice. I used to call it telephony, but voice interfaces and voice AI. How did you come to the position you're in now with Project X?
Yeah. One thing has a funny way of leading to another. And, I had a video game retail and entertainment business that I owned back from 2008 to 2013. And
Wow.
when I sold that, I couldn't rush into anything new. I had to be available. And so I just started learning some new skills. And I was always interested in publishing and content, and got involved, built up a little business around content creation and interactive content creation, some kind of high tech stuff. And that led to a lot of our partners and customers asking around 2016 at this point, what's up with voice? What's up with Alexa? Alexa had just come out. What's up with Alexa? What's up with voice? What do we need to be doing with all this? And I said, look, stop asking. I don't know. I don't. Don't ask. And but that's not quite how that works. And the more I found out about it, the more intrigued I became because as human beings, in the womb and when we're born, all we have is our mother's voice, and then we develop an inner voice that guides us for the rest of our life. So it always stood to reason that as technology evolved over time, it would arc toward being voice driven, voice oriented, what a lot of people call voice first. And so we experimented with a conference around how people were using Alexa in early 2017. We're blown away at the response. That became a business unto itself. We had a consulting business arise out of that. We had a podcast network arise out of that. Um, we've been fortunate to carve out a niche for ourselves just around the fact that we arrived at the importance of voice early, and we've gotten to know all the companies and we built a big network around it. So that's kind of my journey in a nutshell.
Fascinating. And so beyond the consumer experience, which many of us are getting to know through Siri and Alexa and Google Voice, and obviously there's a whole host of voice enabled applications now. You go pretty deep into some of the verticals. I know you have a dedicated session to healthcare, which caught my attention, and really
Yeah.
intrigued by the opportunities for patient care and enhancing the patient experience through voice. What's the top of your mind there?
Yeah. So early on in this journey, this is like 2017. It was there was a big study that was done, and there's been some since that have corroborated this, that show, it's funny, we live in this so-called information age, and we live these lonely and isolated and depressed lives. And despite that, or amidst that rather, there's two groups of people that are more lonely, isolated, and depressed than everybody else: college freshmen and senior citizens. And it was kind of a landmark discovery that showed when you insert voice technology, and in this case, it was some Echo Dots, those little Amazon things. When you insert voice technology into the environments of college freshmen, dormitories, and the environments of senior citizens, either aging in place at home or in a facility, positive things start to happen. For senior citizens: better outlook, better disposition, more participatory in their environment, better adherence to their drug regimens, and they die less. For college freshmen: more participatory in their environments, better grades, less dropping out, less drug usage, illegal drug usage, and less suicide. And there's that initial discovery has led to a cascading effect of things that a number of entrepreneurs have zeroed in on. And at Project Voice X, one of them, named Constant Companion, which has built a very prominent business around integrating voice technology around senior care, will be giving an update about the state of their business. They are front and center with how voice is being adopted in healthcare. Now, over the course of the pandemic, the HIPAA restrictions have loosened a little bit. And so voice technology and conversational AI has been able to do more things, get more integrally involved with healthcare, up and down the healthcare vertical value chain. And we're seeing some really cool stuff happen. One of the startups that'll be presenting on Wednesday morning actually has built a business around voice being used for physical therapy. And that's a really interesting business. Other people like Canary Speech will be presenting. That's a company out of the Western United States that uses voice biomarkers to basically, it's not the words that I say, it's how I say them and the characteristics therein that will enlighten the technology on whether I am depressed, whether I have Parkinson's disease, whether I'm an early candidate for Alzheimer's, and many other things. So the world's moving quick in the healthcare vertical, and some of that will be on display next week.
Wow, fascinating. So unfortunately, I personally won't be there, but I think you have a digital version as well for folks who aren't going to be in Florida. And tell me about, you're excited, I guess, for an in-person event. I had one of my first this week in Boston, and it was really nice to see people face to face and to socialize. But you can't beat Florida in the outdoor setting there for some good times. Tell us about the format of the event and when and where it is.
Yeah, so it's in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, at the Fort Walton Beach Convention Center.
You had me at beach.
Yeah, well, I had myself at beach too. And as I have said all year long, Evan, if I am the only person there on the beach by myself, I'm gonna be there. Okay. And as it turned out, things have broken the right way to where many other people will be there too, and we're grateful for that. But we knew we were going to do this in Florida long before Florida meant Florida, long before there was political things attached to that. But Florida is a beautiful place. It's a relaxing place. It's what we need. It's what many of us need coming out of this pandemic period. And It's one big thing, which I'm sure you can appreciate is, prior to the pandemic, we do a lot of events. That's a part of our business. And we would cram them full with content, speakers to the wall, and and de-emphasizing social aspects. That's just how we would run our event series. It's totally reversed now. We have abbreviated programs that go from 9 to 3 on Monday, 9 to about 1:30 on Tuesday, and then 9 to 11:15 on Wednesday. And the shrinking programs accommodate various social aspects. There's a waterside gathering that one of the participating companies is doing, a social event Monday afternoon. There's a private screening of the new Dune film on Tuesday. There's a golf
Oh, it's
outing
so
on
fun.
Wednesday. Yeah, it's about fun. It's about coming together, and the content's always going to be there. But it's important to have the right balance as we start to emerge into whatever this next chapter is.
Fantastic. And tell us more about the community you've built at Project Voice. I hear big tech is involved. I've heard developers and solutions providers. How would you describe that sort of community you've built?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's the lines are blurred in the world of voice and conversational AI because um, the distance, the delta between a developer and an enthusiast and an executive is small in this particular realm a lot of the time. And we've got we're fortunate to have companies that were started 2 weeks ago in a garage, all the way up to companies that are publicly traded on NASDAQ, NASDAQ and the other public exchanges. And it speaks to the fact that every company of a certain size, no matter what vertical or industry they're in, has to have some of this expertise either in-house or right at their fingertips. And it's not just operations. Operations is a big part. Any business with a call center, that you've been all over this to begin with, because call centers and contact centers are a key touch point for conversational AI, reducing headcount and increasing efficiency. But even with things like branding and marketing, sonic branding, and things of that nature, conversation design, like if I talk to Coca-Cola, what does Coca-Cola say back to me? These are things that every company is thinking about, and as they should. And so the time is right for this sort of event, and that'll be reflected next week.
Fantastic. And just finally, as a fellow tech geek and enthusiast like myself, what's your favorite use case of voice personally, or maybe at home or professionally? What do you really, what gets you excited when it comes to voice applications?
That's a great question. So I'm a lifelong gamer, and I've been a gamer my whole life. My amount of free time has varied over different chapters in my life, but I like seeing the evolution of so-called interactive audio entertainment, and the nexus, the intersection of voice, conversational AI, and various types of gaming and entertainment. And we see it in publishing with audiobooks, where there's lines that are getting blurred between what is and is not an audiobook exactly. We're seeing it with video games. What is and is not a video game? How can audio oriented implementations and experiences augment the AAA video game titles on an Xbox or PlayStation? And we're seeing a bunch of whack stuff out of left field too, that just highlights the creativity going on in the development space with voice. And you asked me what's my favorite use case. I would point people to an Alexa game called Starfinder. If you go to
Sounds
Alexa,
fun.
yeah, hundreds of hours of content in this game. The development cycles equivalent to a Call of Duty or something like that went into this. It's based on a classic RPG universe. And if you go to Alexa and say, Alexa, play Starfinder, you're going to open a can of worms for yourself that you'll probably enjoy. That's worth checking out. And it's a glimpse into the future because the production values are so high with this game that it shows you it's not, you don't have to really be that much of a rocket scientist, because I certainly am not, to think about what could this look like for hotels? What could this look like for hospitals? What could this look like in automotive or anywhere else? And so people should check that out. It's a good glimpse into the future.
Fantastic. I'm going to jump right on that. And for me, it's, audio has been so important during the pandemic with social audio and drop-in audio like Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, and just getting away from screens and having a more audio-centric view of the world has been a real relief for the eyes and the brain. So look, so great to chat and catch up, and good luck with the event. I'll be watching remotely this time, but look forward to seeing all the amazing content. So take care. Thanks for joining us.
Evan, thank you for joining me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
See you.